I've seen a lot of takes from different recruiters across LinkedIn, giving different recruitment tips to job applicants, ways they can get a job faster or how they could be different. But the one I want to show you today may be one of the tips of all time, because not only does it endorse free labor for job applicants, the person who posts it just keeps doubling down after being called out. But the reason I want to show you it is because I think there's some things that the people in the comments didn't even touch on. So this is the post. I don't do unpaid labor. I hear a lot of job seekers declaring this as if the idea of a take-home project is outrageous. But hear me out. I think when done the right way, these projects can be an excellent tool for vetting talent. There are tons of people who are great at their jobs, but not great at interviewing. A practical work project can level the playing field, providing the candidate an opportunity to demonstrate their actual skills. This is a good thing. If a project is reasonable, requiring 1 to 2 hours of work, and is hypothetical, not work that will be actually used by the company. Yeah, that's what I would tell the applicants too. No, we won't. I promise. I think this is advantageous to both the candidate and the company. Before you make a lot of negative assumptions about free work, think about why the company is requiring free work. And remember, this is my favorite part, and remember, if you're not willing to do it, someone else will. Great. So work for free or someone else will do it. What a motivational post. So advantageous to the company and the candidate, right? So let's just start from the top and break this down and why this is not a very great way to go about things. So we start off with the sass of, I don't do unpaid labor. How dare someone not want to work for a company most likely worth millions, not even willing to give them a Starbucks gift card in exchange for a 2-hour marketing strategy deck? I think when done the right way, these projects can be an excellent tool for vetting talent. That's cool. You know what else is good for vetting talent? Talking to them, reviewing their work, paying them for trial tasks to do, literally any method that doesn't involve free consulting. And as we all know, a lot of these hypothetical job projects usually seem suspiciously similar to real life. The job applicant submits a mock campaign that the company promised they wouldn't use, but then 2 weeks later, the company mysteriously launches a campaign using that exact idea. Strange. Companies seem to figure out how to vet vendors without free work all the time. When a company needs a marketing agency, they don't go, can you just do a little hypothetical campaign for us? 2 hours max. Oh, and we might not use it. The company pays for proposals, they pay for consultations, because they respect time is money. And my favorite part is the recruiter math here. If a project is reasonable, only 1 to 2 hours of work, that is some serious recruiter math. And it doesn't math, because this is where 1 to 2 hours of a little project turns into an actual mini internship. When you say it's just a small project, a little 2-hour exercise, no big deal, but from where the candidates are standing, it is a big deal. They're not looking at one project. They're staring at 5 different companies they're applying to, all saying, it's only 2 hours. Just give us a little sample of what you can do for us. That's 10, 15, sometimes 20 hours of reasonable project time for the applicant. And they're not doing it for a paycheck. They're not doing it for a contract. They're doing it just to maybe get to the next step of an interview. You see reasonable, and candidates see a part-time job with no pay. I just don't think that you would accept the same deal in reverse. Like, imagine if a candidate said, hey, before I decide to work here, can you spend 4 to 6 hours on proving why you're a good employer for me? Mock up a sample benefits package for me. Record a quick video explaining why you're worth my time. If you don't, someone else will. I mean, like, you'd laugh. You'd call it entitled. You'd make another viral LinkedIn post about how no one wants to work anymore. And that's the point. When you ask for unpaid work, it's standard practice. But when a candidate asks for reciprocity, it's just unrealistic. Sorry. The imbalance here isn't just about who's doing the work for free. It's in who's allowed to expect respect without having to prove they deserve it first. These people saying, I don't do unpaid labor, aren't lazy. They're the people who actually understand their value. And ironically, they're usually the best people that you'll never hire, because your hiring process was designed to filter them out, using the mindset, if you won't do it, someone else will, which only winds up in a giant race to the bottom for everyone. And once you see that, you can't really unsee it. If a task is valuable enough to affect a hiring decision, then it's valuable enough to compensate. And if it's not worth paying for, then why are you even testing it? You can't have it both ways. If it's worth testing, it's worth paying. So we have your classic corporate math here. So let's break down this 1 to 2 hour project realistically. You spend 45 minutes decoding the prompt because the instructions are always vague. Then you spend another hour digging through their website, social media, product pages, whatever it is they're asking you to make. Another 90 minutes on actually building this thing out, because you're not going to do a half-baked job. You want to stand out. You want this position. Then you're going to spend another 45 minutes after making your initial draft. You're going to polish it, make it nice, get ready to send. And then you'll spend another 30 minutes recording a short loom explaining your thought process. And then you'll spend another 45 minutes to who knows however many hours overthinking, adjusting your writing, formatting, rereading the instructions, making sure you understand understood every step, your 2 hours magically turns into 4 to 7 hours of unpaid work. It's not a small little reasonable project. It's almost an entire work shift. And when you're applying to multiple jobs and they start doing this, you have an entire second job of just doing unpaid work for people as a test. And it's good for both you and the company, right? And my favorite part is the little manipulation nugget right at the end of this post. If you won't do it, somebody else will. Yeah, that's a solid argument. That's the same logic people in high school use. If you won't take me to prom, Chad will. It's like saying, if you don't babysit my kids for free, my neighbor's kid will. If you don't accept these crumbs, someone else will be grateful to starve. That's the kind of energy it's giving. It's not a valid argument. It's a pressure tactic. It's someone trying to turn your boundaries into a liability. The fact that someone else is willing to do unpaid labor doesn't magically make it fair or a great way to interview candidates. It just means the company's interview process is broken. I mean, maybe you genuinely think these projects are a fair way to see who's got the skills. And maybe nobody ever explained the other side to you. But think about this for a second. If these projects are so valuable for assessing the candidates, why aren't you valuing the candidate's time? It's a lack of respect. If the work is meaningful enough to affect a hiring decision, it's meaningful enough to compensate. And if you filter people out based on, I don't do unpaid labor, you're not going to build a great team. You're building a company that tolerates disrespect early. Great hiring is not about squeezing free work out of people. It's about creating mutual respect from the very first interaction. Because if respect isn't there from the get-go, it won't magically appear during onboarding. And that's the part most people miss. It's not about the 2 hours, it's about the message. We value your time, but only if we decide you're worth paying for later. Flip that around and ask yourself if you'd accept that deal. Now, when you look at the actual comments on this post, it's just, I wouldn't paint your home for free to show you I can do the work. I wouldn't build your house for free to show you I can do the work. And then we have this person in here, the top 1% LinkedIn smart, a $. Great. There are plenty of people who do the assignments, do them well, and get hired. Those people aren't here railing against this. Proving your value to get hired has been happening forever. I agree the project should be aligned, reasonable time requests, less than 2 hours total, and never implementable. Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to tell the applicant, hey, make this work. I'm not going to use it. We just want to see what you can do. And then I'm going to use it, right? What are you going to do as the applicant? Not a whole lot down here. But after that, it's fair game. What's fair game? Down here, Andrew says, remember, if you're not willing to do the work, someone else will. That's not the ringing endorsement for doing counterproductive things as you seem to think that it is. There are a lot of things that someone else is willing to do that I want no part of. You see, Rachel, this isn't the insight you think it is. It's apathy with a LinkedIn filter on it. Saying that's the reality doesn't make exploitation okay. It just shows that you've gotten so used to a broken system that you've mistaken it for natural law. It's been happening forever. Okay, so why can't we change things? Why we still got to do it that way? What is this boomer mindset? We've always done it this way. It's actually called a sunk cost fallacy. And then down here we have some more logic. As I've said, sample work is not a true reflection of actual work after the candidate is oriented to the new position. 1 to 2 hours is a pipe dream. Yup. When I hired in the creative field, we've done portfolio reviews instead of an assignment, but that just doesn't translate to a lot of other industries and roles. There's other ways to test people's skills. Still, besides a portfolio, paid trial, paid task. Down here, Audrey says, that comment saying someone else will do it is problematic and a scare tactic that gets used to take advantage of people. And Lori chimes in again with what she thinks is motivational or something. But it's a clear demonstration of two differing mindsets. One that takes on radical accountability and one that takes on entitlement. Audrey correctly called this out as a scare tactic. And Lori's response is basically, no, it's not manipulation. It's just two different mindsets. So she's taking a structural power imbalance here and reframing it as a personal development exercise. It's like if someone pointed out wage theft and she responded, well, some people choose radical accountability and others choose entitlement. No, Lori, some people choose not to get exploited. And then here she says, at the end of the day, each person can make their choice, and trying to influence anyone to do anything becomes problematic. You mean like recruiters trying to influence candidates to do unpaid work? Or this entire comment right now, trying to influence people to accept the fact that if you don't do it, someone else will, and that's accountability? This is peak corporate doublespeak. She's literally trying to influence people by saying it's problematic to influence people. What do you think about unpaid labor? It's just 1 to 2 hours, right? We all know that's not the truth. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this, leave a like and subscribe to see me call out more corporate nonsense like this. And if there's anything you'd like me to showcase on the channel, you can email me, Instagram, Discord, however you'd like to do it. The links for all of that are down in the description. But having said all that, I hope everyone is doing really well, and I'll see you in the next one.